So as October comes to a close, my opponent continues to press the initiative. It is November 2nd, 1941. His supplies seem endless, or honestly, I just don't think he has anything to fear from me, so he just continues to move forward with Army Group South. His divisions head southwards towards the city of Krasnodar and Maykop, while his units, fresh from the victory at Kerch, move eastward to cut off the other side. I do not have the strength for a two-front fight in this area, so we're looking at probably losing these two cities in the next several weeks. A lot of this will depend on his decisions, but so far he just continues to press forward, seemingly until I prove that I can halt him. And this holds true in the Voronezh and Tambov areas. He approaches my units east of Voronezh, and he proceeds to two areas of combat near Tambov and northward towards the city of Ryazan. It's in this central area of the front line that I'm very hopeful with the turning of the weather, because I desperately need some time here to build up some strength to do anything when December reaches. The only other form of attack on the front comes another week, where he attempts to take the city of Rzhev, and my 30th Army continues to hold on, which is a little bit of success that I will gladly take. But as I transition from the last week of October into the first week of November, this is the situation that I'm facing at the beginning of my turn. From this bird's eye perspective, it appears to be obvious that his attempted strategy is to cut my forces in half at the city of Ryazan. So we will we'll try to address that as the next several weeks proceed. But moving to the Air Force, I'm still sitting with a good 5,000 fighters and bombers on the map. So I'm in a position, as I move through the bad weather season, to actually contend with the Luftwaffe, or at least I imagine so. And I'm happily getting back to the point of having 3 million men on the map. So if I get to the 485,000 out of the reserves, maybe I can actually form a full line. But with the 3.6 million losses so far, explains why I'm in this position. But for the first time in a long time, his air losses actually outnumber mine for this week. So I'd like to try to keep that going. So I'm going to do a very minimal attack. It's an attempt in the south to try to obstruct some of his supplies. And the plan centers around the recently captured city of Kerch. 50 bombers flying in what is the best of the weather along the entire front. So hopefully I reduce operational losses. And it's going to strategically attack the port and the rail yard. Thankfully, he does not bring any defenses to his side, so I only lose 2 aircraft in the process. And the results shown to me, or at least through I'm assuming there's a fog of war to this, is 100% damage to the rail yard and 32 damage to the port. So I don't know exactly what this is going to do to hinder his ability to supply his units moving eastward towards Krasnodar, or whether or not he's even using Kerch to funnel supplies up to Rostov. So I just don't know how much this affects him, but it was kind of what I want to lean on, is more of a strategic approach to my bombing, specifically when we get into spring. But moving to the ground phase, starting in the south. Towards the north of Krasnodar is going to continue to retreat. I need to bring better strength into this area, and unfortunately, it's kind of not the priority right now. To the west of the city is going to continue to provide the delaying action that I need, at least for right now. Move the routed units down into the supply depot to hopefully refit in time. I get a new cavalry division, and I proceed to move the mountain infantry division westward. This, plus whatever reinforcements I'm able to bring, hopefully will make taking these cities somewhat of a challenge. where I'm actually successful so far, though, desperately needs help. Even though it's held on for 2 weeks, we're in a position with a very thin line. So I do have 2 mountain divisions here as well that I'm railing down. They will not be a part of next week's turn, but I'll be able to put them into a position, hopefully in the city itself. Hopefully I'm still holding it. But this is a very key part of my defense of Moscow, because if this falls and breaks, well, who knows what will happen then. But staring at the actual center of my line, obviously at this point I have to continue to retreat and fall back. I do have 4 divisions that are new that will help, and they're not going to get there because of the mud. And then it's just a matter of hitting my reserve box and bringing almost literally everything that I think my line was tow of 60% or higher. So, I mean, it's going to be a lot of weak units coming, but I think it's about 70, 75 units are on their way. Other than the transfer process, the act of spending my administrative points is about all I've left for this turn. So it's 3 new depots to help with reinforcements, and then the replacement of the 57th Army leader with Petrov in an attempt to stretch my southern lines back to somewhat reach either a counter-attacking position or defensive position towards that lake. And it was also brought to my attention that if you take your leaders, your armies, and overwhelm them with support units, that it actually gets a negative to the administrative rolls or the initiative roll to actually use it. I think it's initiative. So I do spend a bulk of this turn reorganizing that side of things. So Stavka is going to get a lot of stuff back to hopefully heal up and then send back out next turn. And now I get to sit in the curious mind state of wondering what my opponent does with his side of the turn as he gets it in a position staring at this. So it's not perfect. It's still weak in the Tambov and Ryazan areas. Not sure what's going to happen in the south. I'm done imagining that he's going to run out of supplies and fuel driving all the way into the Caucasus. But at least I know I got stuff on the way, and I will slowly spread it out around and try to do something in the form of a counterattack.